Howdy, folks. Mr. Hanson here. Before I let you all continue working on your portfolio for this current topic, I do want to give you guys some advice for creating the portfolio to showcase your mathematical and systems modeling, which is going to be a tad bit different than what we've done in the past with our portfolios, since a lot of our designs have been using CAD software. Here we're trying to showcase some math equations. So as far as your portfolio is already concerned, you should have a page created for your capstone design project. You should have talked to me a little bit about what your project is. I think in the last portfolio assignment, I asked you guys for some info on project management and some details on your initial prototype. So easy enough. What I'd like to add to this now is some information on your all's mathematical model, and the systems model that you guys produced is a good place to start. So what I'm going to do is just create a new text space. I'm going to create a heading for this. I'm going to call this, I don't know, systems. All right, systems in math modeling. Please don't just like dump in pictures and stuff without adding some context. So I'm going to start with like the systems diagram. And so, the systems diagram for this project is shown below. All right, and then let me dump in just a picture here. I need to download that first. So if you used Google Drawing for your systems diagram, hopefully you made a nice, pretty looking systems diagram to include and showcase on your portfolio. If you go to File, download a PNG version of that, and then it's pretty straightforward to upload that image to your portfolio website. There we go. All right, so there's my systems diagram. Easy enough. So again, what you're providing for me is a mathematical analysis of all or some of the subsystems here in this systems diagram. You might want to add a little bit of text here. There are several primary subsystems, including and maybe include like the subsystems that you're going to analyze. Like for this one, I could maybe break this down into my microcontroller, my frame, my ARM design, my drivetrain design, so my drive motors and drive wheels, and then I might consider figuring out how to think about how the ultrasonic rangefinder works. Like break it down into those subsystems. So in the last video, I went through kind of the math analysis for the ARM subsystem. So what I'm going to do is let's just create a text box space here for the ARM subsystem. Let me make that subheading. This is part of my systems and math modeling. So good habit to get into if you haven't been doing that already. Like keeping track of like the titles of your page and the major segments of your page using headings. And then my ARM subsystem is going to be part of this systems and math modeling section. So I may include that as a separate subheading. All right, so same deal as usual, a little blurb about what this subsystem does. So I don't know, this subsystem takes a torque from the motor and moves a mechanical arm up and down. So again, giving some context for what you're about to show me is going to be super important. So if you want to do your math stuff and you're sketching your skeleton diagrams and your free body diagrams in your notebook, you're welcome to do that. Just keep it relatively neat. And then we can do some just like screen grabs or use your device to take pictures and include that in here. For example, I used the Google Drive app on my phone. It's got a nifty feature that lets you scan pictures into a PDF, which will produce a little bit of higher resolution picture than you might grab with just your phone or with your Chromebook camera. And so, here is my ARM subsystem stuff that I did in the last video. What I'm going to do to include this in my portfolio is open up whatever screen grab tool I have. So I'm working on a PC, so I'm going to choose the snipping tool and use this to snip out screenshots of this. So this first section here is looking at my ARM subsystem. So let me save that. And so when I go down here, I can include an image. Let me upload that screenshot I just took. Oof. That again, wrong folder. There we go. I'm going to drag this to the side and make that a little bit bigger. All right, so there, gives me, the visual skeleton diagram of the system, as well as a description of the inputs and outputs of this subsystem. So I might put in a little bit more details here. So as part of this subsystem, I've got, let me add another subheading. I've got a gear train, a compound gear train is used to increase the applied torque of the motor. Calculating the gear ratio provides a torque multiplier of 9. So that's kind of a summary of what I did. So somebody reading through this can know what I did, and I want to go back to my work in my notebook here. Use my screen capture tools. Maybe include the snippet of this that has to do with the calculation for the gear train. And so we're just kind of dividing it up into the systems, the major systems, the major subsystems, and the included subsystems. So let me label this and upload that to the portfolio. I can put that in as another image. There's my gears. Bam. All right. And so in that way, like you could break down each of these subsystems. Like I can do my load analysis. If I did a mobility analysis using the mobility equation, I can include that. But do be sure that as you're presenting this information, you have your systems diagram. You can have grabs of the work that you did from in your notebook, as long as that's neat and easy to read. If not, you may want to write it up and make it a little bit neater in your notebook. I think doing it in your notebook is going to be a little bit neater than doing it using like a Jamboard or a digital whiteboard tool. But one thing to think about is kind of the goal that your major subsystems are trying to achieve. And we can think about that in terms of the input and output. Like I've got my systems diagram. I can think of what the inputs to the system is, what the outputs of the system are. But same thing for the systems. Like I've got a motor turning a gear. What is the goal here? The goal here is to lift a certain amount of weight. And so you may include something like the purpose of this subsystem is to ... tell me what the purpose of your particular subsystem is. And so if you can do that for a few of your subsystems, that the particular ones that we've talked about, being able to analyze anything with gears, anything that has mechanical moving parts that we can do mobility analysis for, you'll have a pretty nice little presentation of some pretty high-end engineering concepts related to your project. So see if you can get that presented for your project. That's sort of what I'm looking for in terms of how your portfolio looks and feels. And let's get some of the stuff presented. And in our next topic, we're going to move on to pretty much just building and prototyping and testing things out. So it'll be a little more hands-on than the math stuff that we've been doing with this last topic. But see if you can get your math stuff presented and your systems diagram presented, and we'll be ready to move forward next week.